Super Rugby Pacific, folks. The 2024 final teams are out. Blues against Chiefs from a sold-out Eden Park this weekend, Saturday, 7:05. We'll go through them, the lineup, some stats, who's in and who's out. There are certainly some surprises, and you guys can let us know your thoughts. Sold-out Eden Park, like I mentioned, is a great bit of news. The weather forecast, as I sit here, is looking pretty decent, so we could be in for a cracking final. The Blues are coming into this one in pretty hot form, but the Chiefs just seem to be peaking at absolutely the right time. Paddy Tuipulotu is back for the Blues. That is definitely the biggest surprise of seeing the lineups this week. He was injured a few weeks ago, and it seemed like he was done for the kind of short to medium term. But no, Patrick Tuipulotu has been named the number 4 jersey for the Blues this week. He is captaining the side. I'm hoping he's close to 100% because he's certainly been having a great season, and he deserves to appear in this Super Rugby final, doesn't he? The coaches have said, he's passed his test in the gym, he's passed his test on the field, and they're kind of happy that he's going to run out for the Super Rugby final. It did kind of feel like in the statements that if it wasn't a final, maybe he wouldn't be playing, but he wants to play. He's a Blues man, and he'll be wanting to try and get his hands on some silverware, won't he? Elsewhere in the Blues lineup, it's pretty stable. Tu'ungafasi, Riccatelli, and Renata. That's the same front row as what played the Brumbies last week and won 34-20. It wasn't tight at the end, but you feel like the Brumbies were one score away from making that game interesting, and the Blues really had to defend in that game. They'll be kind of battered and bruised because they had to make 200-plus tackles in that game, which is more than the other semi-finalists in last week's semi-finals, but they do have an extra day's rest. They played on the Friday, the Chiefs played on the Saturday, so that is certainly one thing going in the Blues' favour. The back row of Ioane, Papali'i, and Sotutu has been impressive this year. Remember, Ioane is leaving New Zealand Rugby at the end of the season, so he'll be looking to go out on a high when he leaves the Blues. Papali'i's been a proper tackling machine. He's cracked 200 tackles this year, which is not many players have done that. And the Sotutu's been a try-scoring maestro. He's been making offloads for fun, setting up other players, so having a really good campaign at number 8. Backline-wise, Christie and Plummer are still the preferred 9-10 combo. They'll be looking to control the territorial battle as much as they can, alongside Stephen Perofeta, who was there at fullback. It's good having him as that kind of second playmaker for the Blues with that kicking game of his and his ability to bring other guys into the game. Midfield of AJ Lamb and Ricky Ioane, plus the back three of Caleb Clark on the left wing, Mark Talia on the right wing, and as I mentioned, Perofeta at fullback. I mean, Caleb Clark's been getting himself into a lot of space. Mark Talia's, I think, chalked up 9 tries this season, so a lot of excitement about that Blues starting 15. They've gone with a 5-3 split on the bench, so 5 forwards, 3 backs. Eklund, Fusitua, and Ta'ava are the same front row replacements. Josh Beer drops to the bench with Paddy Tuipulotu being back starting. Choate is still there as the kind of loose forward replacement, and the back replacements are Funaki, Heem, and Forbes. Forbes has been having a good year. I don't think he even got off the bench last week, though. Bryce Heem has missed the last few games injured, so it's good to see him back. And then Funaki, you feel like, can add a bit of punch when he comes on as the replacement halfback. So, yeah, that's the Blues coming off that win against the Brumbies. For the Chiefs, I was going to say Canes. They beat the Canes last week away from home. It was a little bit, I don't want to say unexpected, but people were thinking Canes with home advantage, going to be hard to beat, but as I said, the Chiefs are just peaking at the right time. 30 points to 19. Cracking away win over a really hard to beat Hurricane side. The Chiefs are going to be absolutely full of confidence after that one. Ross, Thompson, and Dyer, that is the expected front row, I feel like, because with Tokiaho being out, there was always going to be a question mark about who was going to line up in the number 2. Well, it was always going to be Tyrone Thompson, but what was their depth going to be like at hooker? Well, pleasingly for the Chiefs, Bradley Slater has been named as the reserve hooker. He was also kind of like Patrick Tuipulotu in a big injury doubt, but the fact that he's in is cracking news for the Chiefs. Tupou and Vai are going to continue on the second row. Tupou has also been a bit of a tackling machine this season as well for the Chiefs. Finau, Jacobson, and Satiti, speaking of tackling machines, if Jacobson can make 14 tackles in this game, he'll also crack the 200 tackles club for the season. He's going to captain the side. And then Satiti, he was having a worldie of a game last week, wasn't he? He cracked over 100 metres. Big intercept and helped set up one of their other tries. Really danger man player at number 8 for the Chiefs. the Blues will be looking to keep him as quiet as possible and hoping he had his best game of the season last week, not this week for the final. Ratima has been cracking as well at number 9. He's got 9 tries this season. He continues on, and D-Mac is the top points scorer of Super Rugby by quite some way. He'll be looking to control the game as he's been like to do last week especially. Midfield of Pohipi and LB continues, and in the back 3, Nana Saturo switches to the left wing. Narawa still there on the right wing, and Stevenson is there at fullback. He's back. After initially being named last week, he was a kind of a late scratching, but his return sees Nana Saturo shift out to the wing. And he'll be looking to recapture some of that form he showed against the Reds a couple of weeks ago. And man, Narawa slippery as an eel last week, wasn't he? 10 tries he's got this season. Like him and Talia putting their hands up for All Blacks selection. That seems like a proper battle. Nana Saturo and Clark, like there's some proper good head-to-head battles in this week's final. Bench-wise, Slater, like I mentioned back, his inclusion is great news. Prophet and O'Neill, same. And then there's no Akui this week, sadly. He's pulled out with injury. So Selby Ricketts, a really good experienced campaigner to bring in as your replacement lock. Parker's the loose forward replacement. Then 3 back replacements with Rowe, Tupaya, and then Daniel Rona dropping to the bench. But yeah, interesting battle on paper anyway. They last played at the kind of start of June, I think it was. Last few rounds of Super Rugby regular season, and it was 31-17 to the Blues, which is a pretty emphatic win, but I remember it feeling like a bit of a loss from a Blues perspective because they were chasing a bonus point, which the Chiefs took away from them at the end of the game. The Blues certainly started that game the stronger, looked like they had a bonus point secured, their front row was looking good, but then the Chiefs finished the game stronger with a couple of late tries and certainly took that bonus point away from the Blues. So it's a hard one to call. Both these sides have lost finals in recent years. The Blues in 2022 to the Crusaders, the Chiefs in 2023 to the Crusaders. Both those sides have had fairly decent changes in personnel since then, so the sides aren't the same as the ones that lost. I mean, Bowden Barrett and Tuvasashek and Lalala and Hodgman were all starting that game. The Blues lost in their final. Likewise for the Chiefs, they had Weber starting at 9, Nankivell starting at 10. The back row included Soakula and Sam Kane, and Retallick was playing. So both these sides are similar, but still quite different. So we can't read too much into those finals. This is a new final, and both sides just got to give it everything. Between now and then, if you're looking for some rugby content, check out NZR Plus down in the description. The In Their Own Words series with all the All Blacks guys is of particular interest, especially with the All Blacks squad being named next week. I recommend you guys check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, Super Rugby final this weekend. Eden Park sold out. Blues, Chiefs. You guys listening thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.